Right. Hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to Raising the New Earth. Hi, Noah.
Hey, Brooke.
Hi, everyone. Today, we are talking about the holidays. And I feel like every single year it gets earlier and earlier as to when we feel kind of that rush of the holidays. And, um, everybody's just kind of picked up an activity, and we thought we would have a discussion on being able to get through the holidays with ease and flow and just enjoying it, because I think that there's a lot of beauty that can be in just like slowing down. And when we get to the winter solstice on December 21st, and I think that a lot of what our culture presses is the opposite of that. So just kind of finding ways where you can connect and have more ease and flow. So I'll kind of start off by, like I said, like I feel like the holiday season comes earlier and earlier. I think that with kind of social media and having all of these different outlets that we can go to, we seem to be a bit bombarded by like the pressure of, buying all of the things and, the events we need to do and the ways we need to decorate our houses. And while all of that can be wonderful and certainly can be fun to participate in, I also think it's important to be able to kind of take a step back from that and really focus in on what matters to you and finding that time where you can create stillness within yourself and really connect in with your values and what you hold dear. So with that, Noah, I'll kind of bring it to you of what you feel, during this time and what really helps you to kind of reconnect and stay
Yeah,
sane.
exactly. And in that idea of pursuing the port and feeling grounded and feeling nourished, I remember that last year we did a mini episode about gratitude, and it's something that is more needed than ever as Thanksgiving is coming upon us, and it's really encouraged for us to all to connect to gratitude, which is, the ultimate state of receivership. And the more we can express gratitude in all areas of our lives, we can raise the vibration, elevate our presence in the world, and in turn, we can receive more abundance to come into our life. So I think expressing gratitude and celebrating Thanksgiving, it really allows us particularly to take a moment to give thanks to the blessings that we do have in our lives, because we all have blessings in our lives, and these blessings are easy um, to disregard once we are in that daily race of pursuing other goals in our lives. But that time that no matter what you have going on in your life, the ups and downs, you always have a reason to be grateful for at least one thing. So, and it also turns out that gratitude is really good for you. The neuroscience of gratitude has announced that recently. Um, so yeah, for me at least, I always look at the holidays as a great opportunity to slow down and focus on things that I want to focus more of, and let the things that don't serve me go. And people are starting lists and what they want to do, and everybody's signing up to the gym. And we talked about previous episode was all about those atomic habits to achieve our great wellness. So just stick to those habits that you can do. You don't have to, aim super high and look at the long term, but those little small wins throughout the day, something that you can do every day to take you towards that goal, is something that you can start putting on your list, um, for this year, for this coming year.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that you brought up gratitude because, ironically, I think that in many ways we've kind of just skip over Thanksgiving or see it as like a day that's now kind of encompassing of all of this kind of um, holiday madness. And like you were saying, gratitude is so healthy from just like a science perspective, and just the neuroplasticity that can come from just being able to continue find that appreciation. But I think that like and I think that the deeper place where that brings you is to that pure level of contentment that, no matter what you have or don't have on the outside, you can be fully appreciative and grateful for all that is in your life. And also realizing that most likely most of those things aren't even material things, that they're the relationships that you have, and the non-material appreciations. So yeah, I think that, I with my, and especially, talking about now having a daughter, I think that it's even more important because we talked about this some last year, and I feel like it's kind of been it's a theme on our podcast to, of course, talk about like our children are kind of in this culture of, more constant stimulation. And so it becomes, I think, even that much more important to carve that time out for your family to find that contentment and to actively practice that. So, I was appreciative of this, that her school actually brought home a calendar of every day in November to talk about something that you're grateful for and giving different prompts and stuff. So I love that and want to continue. And I think that is something that could be useful throughout the year, but I think especially in this holiday season to really connect in on a intentional basis on all the different things that we can be grateful for in our lives, and teaching our children as well that true contentment isn't from like buying the next new thing or, connecting in with the shiny new object, but rather of like really being able to hone in and just be grateful for what you do have in your life. So
yeah. And I think, we did I think we did a holiday episode, non-Thanksgiving, different holiday episode about Santa Claus or something last year. And
yeah.
we talked, and I just thought about it this year because my opinion hasn't changed, right? And
Not
it's tough.
I just chuckle because I feel like, knowing that you didn't really grow up with Santa Claus, like, so coming to the United States and now raising your children, you're like, what in the world? It just makes me laugh.
How does he fit in this chimney? I still don't get it. What about,
Yeah.
does he need more cookies? Does he really need more cookies?
Right. Right. Just feed him some more. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's a little bit crazy. So, and I love though your attitude, because you realize that it brings so much joy to your husband because he did grow up celebrating Santa Claus, and as did I, even that, and I've come to my own kind of like conclusions, and like, I don't know, not conclusions, but I do see how it's fun. It was fun as a child to get to like be anxious for what Santa maybe brought you under the tree. So I think there's a way to balance like like it's okay to appreciate new things that you get and to be grateful for them, but also that it's not always about just more and more shiny new toys or shiny new objects. And yeah, so it's like practicing both, because it's like this idea of being in the world, but not of it. We're in the world, it's a material world. Like, it's fun to have new gadgets and, clothing and whatever else, but where can we take a step back and also recognize that while all of that is good and fun, it's in the end not what is going to bring us to those levels of deep satisfaction and contentment with our lives. We'd always be chasing more if it was always about those things. So
True.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then
So nutritionally speaking, I also thought about that. Nutritionally speaking, like, I have a few clients that say, you know what, I'll start with you after the holidays. And it made me think, is like, like what's going on during the holidays that you can't start your wellness journey now, right?
Right.
But I, I,
Yeah.
I understand the mentality of I'm going to have to give up, quote unquote, everything that I love. I'll be
Mhm.
deprived of the food that I want to, go for. So I might as well just start after. But the idea of wellness is the idea of incorporating things that you love and not the idea of deprivation. So just a few tips that I came up with for those that are on a weight loss journey and for those that um, are looking to still lose weight throughout the holidays. Then if you are one of those people, then prep your food and make sure that you are the one that brings a yummy and nutritionally dense dishes. I don't know, like Brussels sprouts and chestnuts with pumpkins. It's one of my favorite dishes and everybody loves them. It's sweet and delicious and nutritious and lots of fiber. You can bring a huge salad with yummy dressing, some nuts or cranberries. So be responsible for what it is that you do want to bring and bring things that you will eat. You don't have to bring the pumpkin pie. Not that there's anything wrong with pumpkin pie. If you, and that brings me to the second thing, if stick to a dessert that you like and you really look forward to having. But if you're like me and one slice is not enough, and the processed sugar creates this trigger in your mind that makes you want to eat more of that, then you might as well just steer away from that processed sugar dessert and go for fruits. If you know there's not going to be fruits, bring a fruit platter with you. Make it a yummy, dessert or sip on a yummy tea. Um, and in general, like some of the reasons why we experience sugar cravings, that's something that I had to dig deeper when I went through, my weight loss journey is it can be variety of factors. It can be low blood sugar levels, it can be our stress, emotions, lack of sleep that we know is important, dehydration, the mood we are in. So just check in with yourself if you do need to eat the whole pie. And I would add as my third point, eat before Thanksgiving meal. You don't have to fast before the Thanksgiving meal. I know for myself, I feed my kids before we leave the house. Why? Because I don't know what's going to be there. Even with my
Mhm.
one or two dishes, I have no idea. I feed the kids so that they can enjoy the occasional food that they normally don't have. And it is okay. There's no sense of, oh my God, what am I putting into my body? And myself included. If I have that proper meal that I love and I know it's nutritious, then I can then offer myself something else. And I won't be as hungry for that loads of gravy on my mashed potatoes with butter. I'm not going to need a whole portion of that. I'll be satisfied with half of it. Right. And when
Yeah.
it comes to kids, is my last point, is that keep it flexible, simple, and nutritious and lead by example. If you want your children to eat better, you have to eat better. You have to,
Yeah.
bring them a variety of options. They like to be the uh, the authority when it comes to what they eat. So just put a bunch of things in front of them and let them make the decision. And again, you can feed them before the holiday meal.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. When you brought up, how your clients are like, "Oh, I don't want to wait until until after the new year." But I think like just and if you feel yourself doing that too, or like I think a lot, I think it's very common. Like,
Very
yeah, the
common.
end of the year, yeah, it's, this is the festive holiday season. I'm going to treat myself. But yeah, just taking that step back and recognizing that you don't have to ever have that all or nothing approach. And even if you're not sure, you can give yourself a little bit more lax during the holiday
Mm-hmm.
season and January 1st start fresh, but that also doesn't mean that you have to throw everything out of the window and I think all of those tips that you said are so important and such good advice because yeah, where we often do find ourselves at parties and there's not maybe the most healthy food, but if we can find for ourselves what works where we can still indulge in our favorites and
Yes.
not
Yeah.
feel guilty and that we need to beat ourselves up that we did that, but also maintain, some bit of nutrition and control and feeling that, we still have that that power. And the only thing that I would add to like what your tips were, and I know alcohol is, very,
Right.
it's festive, and we tend to drink a little bit more. I know I do, and have in the past over the holidays. But one thing that I really try to implement, like if I go to a party or something and I do want to have a glass of wine, is making sure that I drink twice as much water as I am of
True. That's a
alcohol.
really good tip. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, and it's also a lot of times when we start consuming the alcohol, then a lot of our other inhibitions, like as far as like, finding ourselves at the cookie table and we're just, slamming down the cookies. Not that I've not been there,
We've
but
all been there.
right, right. So it just is a good way to keep yourself in check, but still feel like you're enjoying and like
Right.
participating in the festivities. So
Right. And if you do feel that sugar craving, and if you're eyeing that third or fourth pastry from across the room, then check with your mood first. Are you already happy and having a great time? You know, and make sure that that dessert that you're eyeballing is already elevating what already seems like a positive experience. So this way, if you're already feeling happy, that pastry may not be, adding to you. Maybe you don't, if you are on that weight loss journey, if you worked hard like myself, I'm very aware of what I put in my body these days.
yeah.
Because it doesn't work for me otherwise. And so I don't deprive myself. There are certain things I naturally don't eat that other
Mm-hmm.
people will eat. But from what I eat, it's like, okay, did I drink enough water? And like, how happy am I? Do I need another drink? Most likely I don't. So just checking in with yourself if this is something that you want to have, and if you're going to have it, enjoy it. So there's no cheat meals. There's treat meals. Really enjoy it. Enjoy the company of your loved ones.
Exactly.
Enjoy, the pumpkin pie or the pecan pie that your aunt made or your mom or whomever. Enjoy because it was made with love. So
Mm-hmm.
accept it to, your digestive system with a lot of love because that's how it was made. So
Yeah.
just the intention is different.
Yeah. And sit down and savor it. You don't
Yeah,
have to, yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah, rush it in your mouth. So, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think those are all also important. So, is there any other like from new I'm just trying like because there's so much from our stress levels, and then
yeah,
the eating piece. And then I think just like movement too is another place where talking about the all or nothing, sometimes like even if we've had a good routine, it's like, it's the end of the year,
yeah,
so I think that even keeping consistent on me, and that might look a little bit different. Like if, you've got a busy holiday schedule, but where can you add in, some movement, and then maybe also like a little bit of breath work or meditation if you regularly practice that, which I definitely suggest, just to keep your stress levels in balance, because
yeah,
it is a busy time of year. So just not, yes, the new year is like a wonderful time to take up new habits and really start fresh, but that doesn't mean that now through the end of the year that we have to just let everything kind of go out the window, because we're going to feel a whole lot better when the new year rolls around, and feel maybe even more like we're ready to accomplish kind of those bigger goals that we set for the year ahead.
yeah. I like you mentioning the meditation and the movement. For me, it's crucial that I get movement in the morning, and just 4 minutes with a breathe app. Less than 4 minutes, actually. It's like 2 minutes of breathing outside in nature. That's how I start my morning. And then um, you know, doing my workout either at home, at the gym, taking a yoga class, or here on the treadmill. It's really important for me. Some people are weekday people where everything is aimed um to maximize results during the weekday. For me, I have to apply the same for the weekend as well, or I get off the wagon very, very fast. And I don't like coming back to a starting point again on Monday. It doesn't work for me. So even during the weekend, I really make sure that, we go on a hike, I go on a walk, I do my workout. So same applies for me for the holidays. I need to make sure that I've taken time for myself before the stress levels are added in to the equation where, I am not the best version of myself. And this is not what I want to bring to the table. I don't want to, no one wants to sit around, a grumpy lady,
Yeah.
not
Well,
enjoying anything.
well, and actually you bring up a good point too of just like being able to be your best self around other people. And I think that also like lends itself well to knowing that we'll be around family, and family's,
Right.
beautiful and wonderful, but we can often get triggered by certain things with family, or, it's just a lot of closeness.
Right.
So, think of it as the more that you can like keep that centered place within yourself, then when you do show up, with people who don't always share your opinions or want to be very opinionated about something that you don't really, buy into, or isn't part of your belief set, it allows you to be able to come from a more grounded place and not such a triggered place to be able to handle them, because you want to be able to enjoy the time you spend with your friends and family and not feel like that alone and being in that environment is going to put you in a stressful situation. So the more you handle that outside of, actually being in the space, then the better.
This point is really important. Can you give us some tips? Some,
Yeah.
manageable tips? Yeah, let's talk about it. That kind of opened up a door that I think
Yeah.
people would be interested.
Like I said, the whole meditation and breath work, I think, is huge. And the thing to remember there, we've talked a few podcasts about, the parasympathetic versus the sympathetic nervous system, and that we often don't even realize it, but kind of our normal functioning is in this, hyper focus, just because that's what we need to get through our
Right.
day. So, but bringing that energy and that kind of fight or flight nerve, that literally that's kind of where your nervous system is at, and then bringing that into a situation is going to be much harder to control an anger outburst or something like that. So I think especially if you know that you're going to be going to a family member's house, a friend's house that you've had difficulties with in the past, they've brought up different triggers for you, that maybe take 5 to 10 minutes, even if it's just in the car right before you go, just a few deep breaths is better than nothing. But even better if you can take some time in the morning to just, sit, get grounded, notice your breath, allow your breath to come all the way down deep into your belly. That's where you're stimulating the vagus nerve and, literally changing your nervous system from that fight or flight to the more rest and digest. And so I think that would probably be my biggest tip. I also think that we just from a mental perspective, we have to recognize that not everybody shares our same value system, our same belief. I mean, in all honesty, nobody exactly is going to replicate what we say and believe. And, it's also knowing that we can't change other people. We have no control over
Right.
other people, of how they think, how they act. And so the more that we try to change them or feel like we need to state our opinion of why it's better, it often is just a futile task. And I think that the most genuine and heartfelt way that you can really get someone to kind of maybe see where you're coming from or understand where you're coming from is by your actions. And so, I take that advice for myself too, because, I have family members who, don't agree with, things that I say, or kind of roll their eyes at my more holistic viewpoints, or things that I don't really care to eat during the holidays. So, you know, you have to let people be who they are, and give them the space to do that. And if they're ready for a change and willing to change, you might just inspire them by your actions, but it's not necessarily going to be through forcing your opinion down their throat. So I think that's huge too. So
yeah, because everybody has family members that, don't agree with something they do, or how they behave, how they raise their kids, how they work, how they don't work, what
oh
they
yeah.
do, like we all have it. So I think this getting through the holidays, without wanting to convert anyone to our opinion, our way of living, our, whatever, is a really important tip.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I brought this up to you this quote when we were talking about doing this episode, but it's like, if you think you're an enlightened person, go spend a week with your family. But I think there's so much truth to that, because it's like, it's so easy to kind of live from this place, and then all of a sudden the people that you've grown up with, are like, known for your whole life, or doing something completely different. And that, I just think that there's a whole nother level of trigger often with the people that that are close to us, and that makes sense. So yeah, I think that staying grounded and breathing through that can be a lot less stress than otherwise. And then another just overall tip, and I tell myself this, and like I said, like, I already feel this, like everybody's talking about, Black Friday sales. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like a whole nother week till Thanksgiving. Like, they're already coming out. But like I tend to like get stressed. Like, it's like, oh, the holidays, I've got to be busy. I've got to make sure I've got everybody done on my list. And like, what, like it's almost like gets you in this state of like, this is the place I need to operate from this high stress place. But like, knowing that it doesn't have to be that way. And I think being able to set an intention of how you do want to feel. I mean, you can use this obviously at any time during the life, or during your life, or, times that you need it. But, that's, I think, going into this season is wonderful. It doesn't need to be high stress. It doesn't need to be busy and, full of all of this like commotion and chaos. But like, you can have calm, you can have peace. All you have to do is tell yourself that's how you want to feel, get yourself into that state, and allow it to happen. Have that, and hold that intention for yourself of how you want to feel.
Yeah. And for us, like for Thanksgiving, so I didn't grow up on Thanksgiving either, and I don't eat turkey. But for my husband, I kind of signed us up for Friendsgiving, where everybody brings something, because I thought about the kids. I mean, I want them to experience a sense of gratitude with other people. And so, and to take the load off of me hosting, I signed us up for Friendsgiving with this new community that I was introduced to. And then before I told my husband that, my husband already said, I got Thanksgiving. I got it. I got a Thanksgiving meal. I'm going to do everything, because he knows like my heart is not in it. Yes, I'm all about gratitude. This should be done daily, not for the slaughtering of, hundred thousands of turkeys. Like, I don't need to participate in that. Not that I'm not vegan, but I'm just saying that traditions are meant to be questioned. Like, can we eat something else? Like, what are my options? I always ask, what give me options? So he already has that down, which made me so happy, because that just tells me he knows me. Like, I wouldn't do a Thanksgiving. I would, take us out somewhere or whatever. But yeah, and now with Christmas, which another holiday I didn't grow up on, but again, I'm kind of debating, because we were actually invited to the East Coast to celebrate Christmas with my husband's family. But I don't know if I want to. I'm not there, right? I'm not in the holiday spirit yet. I'm kind of like, I want to be close to home. I want to be home more. I want to be with my kids. I want to, I feel a lot more, I don't know, fall, winter, grounded, stay put, kind of like enjoy a hot tea. I don't want the commotion right now of extending myself and my spirit to that side of the family necessarily, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and traveling over the holidays is its own thing too. I mean, it's just so much more busy and you have like the bad weather that can come in. So, but I think, and everybody has to come to this on their own. Like, I think it's deciding, like, you can have a beautiful time with just your immediate family, and not go anywhere, and however, too, maybe it would be nice, for your kids to connect with, cousins and,
Mhm.
your husband and family. So it's just balancing all of that out. There's obviously no right or wrong answer, but yeah, I think,
Yeah,
yeah. But I think too, like, if you did decide to do that, like, still bring in the intention that you can
right.
still be grounded and you can still come from this calm place. You don't have to, I mean, even if, like, obviously you can't control the airline travel and all of that, but it's just going into the intention of, like, okay, I'm going to surrender to my expectations of how this trip goes and just kind of let it be. So, but
That's very
yeah.
true. And that's Brooke does coaching for me, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you're listening to. Coaches need other coaches.
It's true though. Yeah, you
So
do
true.
have to find, yeah.
So
Yeah,
true.
it's so important to have outside perspectives of, yeah,
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
what.
that's
Yeah.
very helpful. Hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, I think, like, the greater message there to everyone is, like, it might not always be, there might not be always the situations that you would have chosen, but wherein you can you surrender? Because I think that when you can just kind of find that flow and just allow things to be as they are, then you can find the peace within that and, like, connect with the moment as it is. And I think that's where the magic happens, really. It's when we, like, Eckhart Tolle talks a lot about that, like, when we resist the moment as it is, that's when all the stress comes in. That's where all of the worry. So when we can just allow it to be what it is, as if we'd chosen it, even if we hadn't, then we can find the beauty within the moment
Hmm.
as it is. So, because there is always something beautiful
Yeah,
to
I
take from
agree.
whatever situation. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. What else? I'm trying to think of any other thing we haven't
I
covered,
think
but
we covered mentally, nutritionally, family dynamics, which is what can get you flowing through the holidays with ease, as the title of the
mhm.
this podcast episode suggests. So yeah, goes back to intention. What is your intention? Have fun, have gratitude, um, lower the expectations for,
Yeah,
family members that you don't get along with, because there's other things that you can discuss other than the thing that brings arguments within the family. Just, enjoy the family. If you have a family, it's such a blessing as it is.
so true. Yeah. And if you don't have a family, and I think, and just to bring that up for a moment, I know that that also adds a lot of stress. The
Yeah,
missing of family and people that are no longer around. And so, you know, give yourself extra grace and compassion, and give yourself the space to, it's okay to grieve as well, and to feel that energy and feel that missing of someone. Because I know that that's hard as well. So,
true. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I think that covers it. Thank you for your compassion and grace and support, my fellow co-host Brooke. That was so lovely of you. All these tips that you helped sharing.
Well, same for you. And you always have such amazing tips, especially on the nutrition side. So you
The
do.
practical me.
Yes, but they're important. It's
Yeah,
important.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank
All
you,
right.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.